Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. And let me see who was here first. Is it D Sun? Uh, anyway, thank you so much for being here first. Hope I'm saying that right. Hello, Compton Cali Gal, CVH, Mary H, and a few other people. Okay, let's get on with it. I really don't think we'll be here more than an hour today. Yesterday it was only about an hour and 20 minutes, so I think we'll be able to stick with about an hour. The hate campaign. I don't know how else to put it. I'm just gonna have to say it like it is. Buckle your seatbelt. I think it's going to be a very, very rough week or two. Um, this whole business about announcing Meghan at that brownstone has taken on a life of its own. That old cliche. It has taken on a life of its own. I told you from the very beginning that as Americans, and I'm just assuming that the butler at this residence was American, as an American, I think sometimes we get a little carried away with the romance of the whole monarchy and British customs and all that kind of stuff. I think we just get kind of carried away with it. And I myself, and I can only speak for myself and maybe a few other people, I find the royal family a bit of a novelty. I don't really take it serious because it's so antiquated compared to the way the rest of the world works. Um, the idea that an accident of birth somehow makes it to the very top of the pyramid, especially considering who the future king will be, who the current king is, and even the queen, who has the respect of a lot of people, or had the respect of a lot of people in this world, but she was basically an ordinary person who was thrown into an extraordinary situation because her uncle abdicated. And now, um, because of that accident of birth and that chance to rise to the top, because of the whole thing with the abdication, it trickled down to Charles III, who otherwise, guess what? If it wasn't for the abdication, he may have never been king, right? Of course, I don't think Wallis Simpson was of childbearing age. I don't think she had any children, did she? I don't. She may not have even, may not wanted them. I'll just say that real nicely. But there was every chance that Charles would have never been king because his father, or his grandfather rather, would have never been, called upon. So all of it is by chance, not really by design, but by chance. And if we are to suspend our logic and say, well, it is the divine order of things. It's destiny. Is it really, or is these is this the result of some feudal warlords of ancient times that gave favor to other warlords, creating an aristocracy, and now you have the British monarchy? 500 million pounds a year of pomp and circumstance. Mostly circumstance, very little pomp these days. So What is all of this leading up to? The butler announced Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, which the butler may very well have been ordered to do. Maybe the butler took it upon himself to do it, assuming it was the right thing to do. And seeing that this butler does not work for an aristocrat, this butler works for a billionaire entrepreneur in the United States, could be an English butler, maybe, maybe not. But I would imagine the employer instructed the butler to announce people, right? And so he announced Meghan, as he's probably announced hundreds of other people in her presence or anyone else visiting that brownstone. But now we get to this very awkward thing where Meghan, once again, is being blamed whether or not we know what the truth is. They are just assuming that Meghan is so fragile and so insecure. You know, the same Meghan who laughed about the curtsy medieval dinner and joust. Isn't that what she said? Because, you know, it's like, as an American, it's just weird. Looking at a grown woman curtsy, looking at an old woman dipping her knee and bowing in the presence of someone younger. Do you realize that there are people that will curtsy to Prince George, a child? And that's all supposed to be very normal in the UK. So, anyway, that's just one thing. There's some other stuff brewing out there that I'm not even going to address. Um, but it's like they have decided that the Harper's Bazaar interview was, um, I guess, a bridge too far. It's kind of like the Paris all over again, where there's this pylon because it is something that really put Meghan in a very positive light. And as Anne was saying on Duchess of Success, it was like a snark free interview. There was no snark to it. There was no parts of it that seemed to say something complimentary about Meghan, only to, I guess, attempt to balance it with something negative or calling something controversial into question. It didn't have any of that. It was a real get to know you. But the thing is, there's a lot of people who don't ever want to know Meghan, have never met Meghan, and yet they come up with these wild accusations about things that are simply not true, things that don't even make sense. And yet they attempt to frame it as Meghan the narcissist, Meghan the troublemaker, Meghan is selfish. And of course, the whole thing with As Ever, which is incredibly successful. So they've attacked that as much as they could. The With Love Meghan, which has been very successful, and they have attacked that as much as they can. The As Ever being, what was it, number 382 out of 7,000 programs. 7,000 programs at any given time on Netflix. Do you know how many people would do some very desperate things to be in the 300s on a streaming platform as big as Netflix? You know how many people would really, do some shady things to get that level of success? And of course, if I can sound a little shady, let me say this. I still cannot understand, how do you paint someone as a failure and a loser that has been paid, reportedly, allegedly, $100 million. And of course, if you think about the Spotify, the what is it? The what is it? The podcast platform. What was it, $25 million or something like that? And well, of course, they complained that they did not produce enough content for the money. But in both cases, did the check clear? You cannot have been paid $100 million or $20 million, if that is what the figures are. You cannot have been paid that much money and be a loser at the same time. The only way that works is if it should have been, oh, I don't know, $500 million and you only got 100 million. Oh, yeah. Okay. Then I'll say, you know what? That didn't go well for you. You're still rich, but that didn't go well for you. But that's not the case. They have been paid. Whatever the figure is, they have been paid in full. And the reason why they have won is because they stuck to their principles. Going into the contract with Spotify, they promised themselves and made a deal with Spotify. We are only doing things to uplift. We're not doing anything shady and disgusting. So if you have been paid $20 million or whatever the price is, and you have not had to lower your standards, guess what? You won. If you have been paid $100 million and you still have a very positive relationship with a streaming platform, the largest of its kind, Netflix, home of a great deal of original content, if you still have a strong relationship and also have become business partners with Netflix, you've won. And it just bothers people. It just grates on their nerves. In particular, those lonely women that write for the tabloids. Those lonely, desperate women that write for the tabloids. Women that routinely tell us about their body issues and their, what do they call it? Body dysmorphia, whatever they call it, where you just are not satisfied with your body image. And of course, being manless, preoccupied with their age and their sagging boobs and droopy behinds and cellulose thighs. I mean, we have to hear it all. And that's just Sarah Vine. I haven't even gotten to the other ones, but seriously, they have some real issues. And I guess they believe that if they go after the Duchess of Sussex, somehow that is going to lift up their boobs, that is going to hoist up their behinds, and that is going to smooth out their cellulose. And all will be well. When the truth is, they are just one can of Pringles away from disaster. They have gotten to a certain age. They ain't got no man. They ain't got much money because, after all, these tabloids don't pay like they used to. Yeah, they earn a living, but they have to go and do podcasts and YouTube and all kind of stuff they got to do. I mean, they are really singing for their supper. It's not easy like it used to be. And if they could somehow get into that US market, a market which is shrinking, a market which is on the verge of collapse, the legacy media, they don't want to bother with those people. They don't want to bother with them. Do you know how many of them would love to have had the deal that Omid Scobie had? Right? If they could get a deal like Omid Scobie had with the what was it, ABC News, they would kill for that. But it's not available to them. It's not worth it to the American, even though the American networks are going very right wing. It's not even worth it to them to even bother with that stuff. They don't want it. So you see old what's his name, Arthur Edwards, sitting up there looking like he's desperate to get home and thumb through some old copies of Playboy or something. He's sitting up there looking like he's just, got one foot on the banana peel and the other in a grave, complaining about how great Harry used to be before Meghan came along. I mean, it's just it's outrageous, this level that they're stooping to. But I promise you guys, it's going to be a rough couple of weeks. I can see it coming. I mean, I'm just looking at the stuff that's out there now because it's so desperate. It is so desperate. They're trying so hard to come up with some type of indictment like, aha, gotcha. It's like they're getting nervous for whatever reason. Things are going too well, and so now they're panicking. I've one of the articles says there's, what was it, a bizarre something Harry going to do in Canada, meeting with the real estate something, and no, Harry's not a real estate expert. But are we going to pretend like we don't understand what the lecture circuit is? All of a sudden, the lecture circuit has become interesting because of Prince Harry. Ronald Reagan's first speech after he left the White House, he went to Japan and was paid $2 million. You hear me? $2 million, 1980s $2 million to give a speech about God knows what. But it didn't matter because they wanted Ronald Reagan, former president. I believe that was the highest paid speech he had in his post-presidential life, possibly his entire life. But that's not the way they're going to frame it for Harry. They're not going to say, well, the lecture circuit is available to, in the days before radio and television, very famous people would travel the country and they would appear in vaudevillian halls and such, and they just talk. They talk about life, they take questions. Now, that's not something that happens very much nowadays unless you're promoting a book or something, but it happens. It happens. And Harry is going to get paid very well for it. I'm assuming he may be doing it voluntarily. I don't know. But they are devastated because the Sussexes are very successful. They are doing incredibly well, and it's just eating them up. And in particular, 2025, Meghan wrote it in the sand, 2025, looking forward to the very big year that she was going to have. I mean, they just about crapped their pants over Paris. And now the idea that a very wealthy makeup entrepreneur has decided, yes, use my plane, maybe. We still don't know if the Sussexes are paying for it, but according to sources, the Sussexes have had use of her homes and use of her planes. But are they paying for it? I mean, this is probably a business deduction. Oh, and I forgot, they're rich. They can afford to pay their way. Whatever people think, they can afford to pay their way. So we just don't know. So what is her name? Victoria Jackson? And one of the things that they have been spotlighting is that the home has a glass elevator. You know what? A lot of rich people who own multi-million dollar brownstones have glass elevators. They do. They have a house that is taller than it is long. And because of that, they have rooms on the upper floors that may not be easily accessible to themselves or others. So they install a glass elevator. But they threw that into the story to make sure that it seemed very elitist. And it is, because Americans, in so many cases, have worked very hard. They were not given a $1 billion duchy. They were not gifted a $1 billion duchy. They were not born into a duchy. Most of them have had to earn their way. So let's see. There's a couple of comments here. Baron, I don't know if you noticed that Victoria Jackson was one of Meghan's friends playing Mahjong in episode 6. No, I did not recall that, but thank you for the reminder. And thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I did not realize that. I'm going to have to go back and take another look. Wow. So Meghan just had this billionaire over to play. Need I say more? Thank you for that update. I did not realize. I love that. Also, RS, thank you so much for the PayPal. Greatly appreciate it. And Miss Z says, Baron, there we go. I was raised in the Commonwealth, so I'm a traditionalist. But when you think about the ATM of money used, the amount of money used to maintain this tradition, it's kind of unbelievable the UK citizens put up with it. Thank you so much, Ms. Z, for being a member of Royal Sussex and for the super chat. And it is very unbelievable. And time again, I've told that story about how I blurted out, when the Queen goes, this is going to go too. And the way this guy looked at me when I said that, and I meant it. There are people who seem to believe that I'm some kind of a monarchist, or, that I'm in love with the royal family. It's a novelty. It's a soap opera. I don't know how else I could say it. It's interesting. I won't pretend like it's not interesting. I've gone to castles and cathedrals and palaces. Now, I would say that I'm an Anglophile, right? But I also love all kind of French stuff. But if the French had a monarchy, I don't know that I'd be any more in love with them. Or not. I'm going to just say not. Because it's interesting to look back at the past, even if the past is being played out here in present day with some of those events. But I waited a whole lifetime to see a coronation. And guess what? It was a big fat nothing burger. Boring, boring. It was nothing like I thought it should be. It was nothing I expected. A lot of people were let down by it. 70 years for a big, boring coronation. Wasn't much to it at all. It rained, no control of the weather, but it rained. It was just not that good. The best thing about the coronation was the music. Charles sitting there looking like, let me just say it, a corpse. Camilla looking like the bride of Frankenstein. William looking like he's acting out a scene from a Greek tragedy. Kate looking like a mannequin. Enters the buffoon, Afro Annie dressed up as Napoleon. It was a big joke. It was a big joke. From start to finish, it was a big joke. The only thing interesting about the coronation was the music. The music was amazing. But staying up through the night to watch Charles sitting there with a grimace on his face as though he's being tortured was not very interesting. It was not a fairy tale. Watching these two aging adulterers make a mockery of one of the most sacred churches in the land. Not exactly what I expected in a coronation, but there we were. And it just went from bad to worse. It was nothing exciting about that coronation. I mean, you got one thing to do, and he couldn't even get that right. And didn't Camilla look like she was worried about sliding out of the chair? Like that silk on silk was. I cannot tell you how anxious I was thinking that old broad was going to slide out of that chair. She was barely sitting in it, right? And I just felt like disaster was coming, that she was going to slide out of that chair. But she didn't. She didn't. But yeah, she very well could have. And that's unfortunate that she didn't. But yeah, it was just I think about their smug faces, Charles and Camilla, and it was awful. That was a horrible thing, the coronation. It really was. 70 years. And that's what they have to show for it. Yuck. Um, let's see. Lex has a comment here. Lex says they're desperate for a win. It's been 6 years, Baron. Thank you, Legs. And when you say they, I suppose you mean the tabloid media in connection with probably the KP and such. Yeah, they're desperate for a win. They're so desperate to say, "See, we told you so." And I won't pretend like this is easy for the Sussexes because every day they have to weigh whether or not to respond to this or respond to that. And that cannot be easy. Hopefully, as Meghan said, she does not pay attention to most of it. Harry, I'm afraid Harry does not miss anything. And I don't blame him because he wants to protect his family. But the Sussexes are winning. They are winning. By anybody's matrix, they are winning. And it is driving them nuts. It's so illogical. Most of the um, crap that they're spewing out about the Sussexes, it doesn't even make sense, but it doesn't have to, because there's so many people out there that are so negative, and they eat, sleep, and breathe negativity. And it's also due in part to a culture war. By the way, thank you for the super chat. It's partly a culture war that's going on. And Harry and Meghan are caught in the middle of a very turbulent time in American politics. And let's face it, because of their popularity, they are easily pulled into anything and everything. I look at some of the articles where their picture is there and they're not even in the article. Today, today, they blamed Harry and Meghan for the lack of sale. The house where they filmed, they rented a vacant house, a house that is staged for sale, a house that, at a glance you would think, oh, that's the Montecito mansion. Well, it's not. It's a house on the real estate market, which there are hundreds, if not thousands, in the Los Angeles area. I'm going to say thousands that are on the market that have not sold. And this just happens to be one of them. And even though the house is a bargain at $30 million, they took $3 million off of it. The Sussexes paid half of what their house was worth because it's set on the market. The Sussexes used a mansion in Canada because the house set on the market. Those homes are a dime a dozen. There's so many homes out there, mansions that are available that will sit empty looking for a particular buyer. And now that we have the Orange Menace and so few people who are considering, well, I won't say so few because there's always going to be people wanting to come to the U.S., but fewer people wanting to immigrate to the U.S., millionaires included. A lot of them, because of their nation of origin, have been banned from the U.S. So there's a few potential buyers right there. So the house is sitting empty. Not a big deal. But they want to blame the Sussexes for something. Oh, the house is cursed because this is where the interview took place. If there's a bargain out there, people don't care if there's a chalk outline on the floor. People don't care if the walls are riddled with bullets. If there's a bargain, they'll buy it. But nobody wants this house. It looks just like all the others. One is just as good as the next one. So there's no indictment there. The house is empty and that's all to it. So what? But the what is attaching the Sussexes. And all of a sudden, bada boom, bada bing, you got yourself a story. A dandy one at that. It's too easy. It is too easy. I couldn't find my car keys the other day, and I was like, damn it, Harry. And then I had to snap out of him. I'm like, wait a minute. Harry doesn't live here. Even I'm doing it now. Let's see. Carolyn Baker says the gutter press thought they had conditioned the public to never call Meghan Duchess of Sussex, but because they made BBC apologize for calling Kate by her birth name, everybody is calling Meghan Duchess of Sussex. Thank you very much for that. Um, and yes, that is an excellent point. That is an excellent point. And again, people really do want to get it right. And if Meghan is indeed, and we know she is the Duchess of Sussex, people want to call her by her title. It's fun. It is fun. Now, when the bills come, it doesn't mean a lot to us because, again, we're not British. But in the meantime, we are going to get just as carried away with the whole whimsy of it all, just like everybody else. I mean, I went to Japan, right? And the people were so polite, bowing. They give you a little bow when you make a purchase, or when you ask a whatever. And so I got caught up in the spectacle of it. I'm just like, oh, I started doing that little bow. I'm just like, hey, hey. It was fun. I was in Japan. I was doing as expected. So I believe that's all to it. But it doesn't sell papers to say, oh, the butler just got carried away, or maybe that's his job. Maybe he announces everyone in such a way. And I mean, what was he supposed to say? Miss Sussex is here. That doesn't sound right. That is the Duchess of Sussex, President of the United States. Let's say Barack Obama stops by. President Obama, President and Mrs. Obama. Now, he's not president anymore, but you still refer to him by his title. You don't even say former, you just say President Obama. Secretary Clinton. That is the proper way to say it. You want to use it in just such a way. So, but again, it does not sell papers, and it's not enough to tear the Sussexes down. So you have to frame it in a way that makes it seem more needy and desperate on Meghan's part, and that's all to it. They are going to die on that hill, where they have to insist that Meghan was up to no good. Thank you again for the comment. Lex says the monarchy is the Titanic, and the British media is driving them to the iceberg. Harry and Meghan got off before the iceberg hit. The others want to drag them down too. Yeah, the others are. The others want to try to go sailing past them on a door and make sure that they tell them there's no room for you two on this door, just like at the end of the movie. Thank you for the comment. But yeah, that's a perfect analogy. Absolutely perfect. And of course, we all know that the royal family, they're just reshuffling the chairs on the deck of the Titanic. It's still going down. They are terrified. When I say they, the monarchists that know, the tabloid media monarchists that know, they are terrified of a Prince William becoming King William, the fifth? They are terrified. What do they know that we don't? What do they know that we suspect? Are there going to be more rainbows in the future? Are there any problems with substances? Or are they just playing cuckoo? Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. They don't even need a clock. They just cuckoo. Oh, man. uh, in a way, I can't wait. And For a long time, I was just thinking, "Oh no, please, not the titles, but take them, take them, take them, take them." It's not such a big deal. I realize now that I mean, I would rather they have them only because I know that they will never be left alone. You may as well have the titles. That'll just be something else for them to bitch about. But you may as well have the titles because they're not going to ever leave them alone. They are going to make comparisons probably for the next 100 years. They're going to be making comparisons. And there's just no doubt about it. I got to give it to the monarchy. One thing that has always been a winning proposition is selling the story of monarchy. That is something that everyone in the world at some point or another has been interested in. I think that symbols really speak to people in modern times, symbols. And to be able to look at a, let's say, a lion on a carved into a relief or something like that, and you're just like, oh, that's the heraldic beast. That means this, that, blah, 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 blah. Or that's the symbol of such and such a family. And it's fun to kind of decipher those things. It's like learning Latin and going to the Vatican. You can walk around and you can, translate all this stuff in your head because you know Latin. Now, I don't speak or know anything Latin, but just the typical words most people do. But my aunt had passed away last year. She had actually won a trip to the Vatican years ago for being a what was it, employee of the year. And she walked around the Vatican, her and her husband, both Catholic school students. And so they were able to decipher all that stuff. So it's always interesting. And that's it. People like history. People like a good story. And so that is what makes monarchy so appealing to Americans, is that there's just an interesting story there. But would we want that system for ourselves? I doubt it. I really do doubt it. I don't know anyone in the United States who would say, I want a family who has not earned anything in their life. I got to be careful because I'm starting to talk about the ones that's in there now, right? But if you go back far enough with the Orange Menace, that is kind of his story, isn't it? Where someone was born into privilege and never really earned anything. And yeah, so yeah, I got to be careful because I'm really talking about that family, aren't I? Or should I say, ain't I? Let's see. Did I miss one? Oh, okay. Poliver Girl says, "Hi, Baron, Royal Sussex. I made the live and sending love and prayers. Thank you so much for that. And I'm so glad you're here. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chat." Okay. I'm going to take a look at a couple of your comments before I go on. Let's see. The narrative of the domestic pinnacle to strive for, starting with Prince Albert and Queen Victoria revamping the royal family's image. You mean that whole pretending to be a middle class family, that kind of thing, where they're promoting middle class values? And let's see, Queen Victoria went and ordered a little freakishly small crown that looks like something you would just like stuff a ponytail into. Queen Victoria was a riot. God, she was a riot. Um, oh man, I mean, certain tales about Victoria, I actually get a little tickled when I think about it. You wouldn't want to be popular or being some boring monarchy. Just give me the money, the fame. I think he's speaking for a lot of us right now. Flipping out because of the Times article too. They need to. Oh yes, yes. Thank you for reminding us about that. What was it? The Time article, the one that broke down the. Oh, let's see. I have that here, don't I? Okay, let me share that. It has to do with the cost of monarchy. Thank you, Lex. And how much does the royal family really cost the British public? So this is the number that they would want us to believe. Now you could actually layer some more money on top of that because of the repairs at Buckingham Palace, right? But that's not the real story. The real story is what you see here. Um, it's not 132.1 million pounds. If you were to add up everything that you see here on the right, expenditures from the sovereign grant and surplus, state buildings used by the royal family, um, Duchy of Cornwall profits, Duchy of Lancaster profits, royal collection net surplus, cost of local council, security, costs met by government department and crown estate, and the rest of that stuff. It adds up to a whopping 510.2 million pounds. And I do believe that number. When you look at the way it's broken down here, security is one thing that they do not like to disclose. And their excuse for not disclosing the security costs is because they say that it jeopardizes the safety of the royal family. So they don't want to discuss it. But the security cost is incredibly high whenever they travel, right? Whenever they are in residence at any of these homes, they create what you call a security bubble, kind of like the White House. There's vulnerable places around the White House because when the president is not in residence, you can't just stroll off the street, but you don't have people on the perimeter surrounding him and the rest of the family every place they go. So, yeah, you'll still have people on the roof monitoring things and all that, but it's not the same as when the president is in residence. And it's the same way with the royal family. There's always going to be that ring of security, but yet someone managed to leap onto the Windsor estate to go after the queen at the time. And of course, when the queen was in Buckingham Palace, even with the alarms going off and everything, the person was still able to go right to the queen's bedroom. And that was not his first visit. I think he had gone in there like twice before. So nothing is foolproof. Nothing is 100% foolproof. But given the knowledge that everything is or anything is possible, they have layers of security. And thanks to Will and Kate moving to a new forever home, instead of being inside of that security envelope at the uh, Great Windsor Park or estate or whatever, they moved outside of that, which means additional security, additional equipment, additional roads and such closed. And all of that is going to cost a hell of a lot of money. And William does not care. He could easily move his family into Windsor Castle. What difference does it make? those children are going to have the most bizarre life imaginable. Whether it's a little weird or a lot weird, what difference does it make? They're not like everybody else. They're never going to be like everyone else. Okay, so that was that. Let me move on here. Oh, by the way, Miss Jamaica, I have an update. Still in the hospital after 3 days. No broken bones. I do believe she hit her head, and they're running a lot of tests and everything just to make sure that she's okay. But the family is very grateful to everyone for their thoughts and wishes and prayers. But otherwise, it's going to be a long road to recovery, I think, whatever happened, as evident by the fact that she's still in the hospital. So I don't know exactly what state she's in, but I suppose she's out of danger. But it doesn't mean that, that hasn't, there's not something more serious going on just because they said there were no broken bones. So anyway, I wish her the best. It was pretty messed up that happened. I don't want to do that thing where we assume that because it's not in a Western industrial nation that it must have been something lacking because of the location of the pageant. I don't want to be that person. But it seemed like a lot of things went wrong this year. And I'm just being a casual observer. It seemed like a lot of things went wrong. So I don't know. Maybe they weren't ready for this type of pageant or something. I don't know. Uh, yeah, but very sad. Uh, Let me see. I did have something else to go with that, didn't I? Oh, that's the right there says this is an official update regarding the medical condition of Dr. Gabrielle Gabby Henry, who remains hospitalized in Thailand. Her sister, Dr. Felicia Henry Samuels, who is currently in Thailand with their mother, Maureen Henry, advised the organization of the latest development. According to Dr. Henry Samuels, Gabby is doing well as we would have hoped. I'm sorry, isn't doing as well as we had hoped, but the hospital continues to treat her accordingly. Now, see, that's scary right there. I don't know what that means, but that sounds scary. Medical personnel have further indicated that Gabrielle will be required to remain in intensive care unit ICU for a minimum of 7 days as doctors continue their close monitoring and specialized care. During this profoundly difficult time, the Miss Universe Jamaica organization is earnestly calling on Jamaicans at home and across the diaspora to continue keeping Gabrielle in their prayers. We also encourage friends supporting and supporters and well wishers worldwide to join in lifting her in love, strength, and hope. We respectfully ask the public and social media users to avoid sharing negative comments, misinformation, or speculation that may cause further distress to the family. Our primary focus remains on Gabrielle's recovery and the well being of her loved ones. We kindly request continued compassion, sensitivity, and privacy as the family navigates this challenging period. Wow. Oh, I am upset about that. It's unfortunate. Okay. Let me go. There you go. That is the As Ever Brut. Um, let's just say champagne. They don't like for people to promote sparkling, bubbly wines as champagne if they're not from the Champagne region of France, but it is essentially an American champagne. Okay. Uh, so, that beautiful, beautiful box. Everybody wants that box, but you know, I already purchased several bottles of wine. Can't they just give me the darn box? I just want the box. So, um, yeah, as ever, with love, if you all are listening to Royal Sussex, and I know you're not, but if you know somebody who knows somebody who's in touch with as ever, please tell them I want the 3 bottle box. And then let me show you what I just discovered. Okay, this is the one for the 3 bottles, right? Um, Look at that. Oh my God, how cute is that? That's even more practical than the others. I want both boxes if somebody from As Ever is listening. Let me get them the business address for Royal Sussex. In the unlikely event that somebody you know, from the team is watching, please just send it to that address. You ain't got to put no wine in it. I just want the boxes. I need those boxes. So just send the boxes to that address, and I would be very grateful. Someone from the Duchess team, because surely y'all got a couple of them boxes laying around somewhere, and I would love to have the long one for the 1 bottle, and then the 3 bottle box. And if you don't want me to tell anybody, just include that. Just include that with my box or boxes because I want both of those. But yeah, if you don't want me to say nothing, I won't say nothing. But I need to have those boxes. I don't have no idea what I'm going to do with them, but I just want to hold them and sniff the, where they, uh, burn the wood and everything. That's what I want to do. I just want to sniff the little etching and burning and stuff like that. Um, so again, people from As Ever, just send me the boxes. I don't need no more wine or anything. Just send me the boxes and I can put my present wine inside of it. Okay. Okay. That's it. I have no other requests at this time. Appreciate the consideration, and I'd be shocked if anybody over there is listening. I would be incredibly shocked if anybody over there was listening. Now, let's get to this spot of bother. Oh, you know what? I can barely see that. Hold on a second. Let me make that bigger. There it is. Okay, so William was caught on camera allegedly swigging alcohol just before getting out of the car. Allegedly. Getting some Dutch courage, perhaps. He's always been painfully awkward. Remember, he thought slave Harry would always be there to prop him up and make him look human. So, yes, there have been a few people who have alleged that William was, taking the edge off. And when one thinks about it, it does kind of look like that. Now, listen, I'm sure that that's not the case, but I would be lying if I said it didn't look like it because it does kind of look like that. It kind of looks like somebody needed a cup of courage, just a sip of courage. Yep. Now, I do have that video. Let me see if I can make some sense out of this, okay? Because, we're concerned. We want to get to the bottom of it. And if we can't get to the bottom of it, at least we want to have a good laugh about it. Okay, here goes. Now, this is a different camera angle from what you see there. I'm going to say this is more direct, whereas my video is a bit offset. Now, I have no way of slowing it down, but I can kind of give you some individual frames. I don't know. I'm not sure what to say about that now. There are some who says that that was like an air kiss. He air kissed her hand rather than just kissing her hand, something we've never witnessed. He brought her hand and what appears to be not a bottle, a purse or a bottle shaped like a purse or a purse shaped like a bottle. I don't know. But what appears to be some kind of like canteen or something was brought close to him. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the flashing maybe caused him to have second thoughts about kissing her gnarly little crusty hands that have been bandaged for the past 10 years or something. But something seemed to call it off, call it short of whatever he was about to do. So was it liquor? I don't know. I cannot say for certain exactly what it was or what it was not, but it does look damn peculiar, doesn't it? Lex says, oh, let me take that away. Okay, Lex says, geez, does the monarchy suck your soul? Wank's old. Thank you, Legs. Yes, it is completely just like sucking the marrow out of a bone. It has withered him. He has been withered by the overwhelming task ahead of him. But yeah, well, okay. We still have the Sway video. William has missed several occasions in the royal diary, which doesn't mean that he has any type of problems with substances, but it doesn't rule it out either. It doesn't rule it out. So for the lawyers that are listening, all of this is alleged. There is no proof or evidence that is 100% certain, but people closer to him would definitely know. But I just don't suspect anybody is willing to go out on a limb at this time. So thank you very much, Lex, for the super chat. Hey, Bunny Rose. But it does not look, well, anyway, let me see what this other part says. It says, nothing funnier than derangers making crap up and British media running with it. William never kissed Kate's hand in that car. I have slowed and froze the clip. You can clearly see both hands in the clip are William's. Oh my goodness. He took a sip on whatever he was holding, and sure it wasn't Kate's hand. Let me see. Same as the UK summer didn't turn Kate's hair blonde. William never kissed her hand. Okay, so it's a twofer. Number one, he did not kiss her hand. He took a sip of something. And number two, the hot summer sun did not turn Kate's hair blonde into a muskrat color. So, okay, point taken. Point well taken. Let's see, Daily Mail article, Willie Leaks and Kate charge 15 American couples 32,000 pounds to shake their hands. 2011 in Santa Barbara and 2014 New York City. But Harry shouldn't get paid for his speech on leadership. Thank you very much for that. Yes, I do recall that article. That was when they had their big American tour after the wedding. I'm going to say that was 2012. The wedding was what, 2011, 2012? And they started like, oh, well, not just 2012, obviously, but 2011. Oh, yeah, 2011 and 2014. Okay. So, yeah, they were trying to dig into those American pockets. Like Americans would be so glad to meet two of the most boring people that have ever drawn a breath. And remember, a lot of those people that were trying to get to know Kate Middleton were people who were actually friends with Diana. Diana had so many connections here in the US, very wealthy connections here in the US. People who Diana could, you know, work with when it comes to fundraising and such. So, yeah, it's interesting that they have somehow lost the plot, as they say. But thank you so much for the super chat. Okay. Hazel Jones, I didn't know you were here. Welcome. And then there's this. I didn't know what to make of this. Prince William and Kate Middleton. Affair scandal, royal biographer claimed devastated princess barred contact with close friends, ordered heir to the throne into counseling to save their marriage. Now, OK Magazine, they are as tabloidy as you can get. And who knows what to make of that? But I'm going to play along. Yes. It says Prince William and Kate Middleton affair scandal. Royal biographer claims devastated princess barred contact with close friend. Oh, I did that already. There seems to be trouble afoot for Prince William and Kate Middleton. Notice they're calling her Kate Middleton. Thought we weren't supposed to do that. Royal biographer Andrew Lonnie has claimed the Princess of Wales, wow, a whopping 43-year-old Princess of Wales, issued an ultimatum to William, also 43, regarding his highly alleged affair with friend Rose Hanbury. Okay, this is kind of old business. I really don't want to go through this right now. So, ultimatum, go to therapy. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a rehash. I'm gonna skip that one. Let me see. Why do they remind me of the book Sleepwalk the book and the movie Sleepwalkers? Listen, Will and Kate has been asleep since they got married in 2011. We're still waiting for them to wake up. But thank you so much for the super chat. Kate Middleton's sunlight blonde explanation draws skepticism. Well, you know what? It's not a lot of skepticism. It seemed like most of the media is playing along with her. Yeah, it seems like most of the media is giving them a pass. Let's see. This article, of course, is from Feminagra. In September, Kate Middleton appeared with noticeably lighter hair, prompting a wave of speculation. Her signature brown had shifted to several shades toward blonde, drawing surprise from royal watchers and commentators alike. Some images rather, particularly those taken outdoor, appeared to show changes in the length and volume. This led to questions about whether she might be wearing extensions or even, yes, you guessed it, a wig. A wig. Given her recent cancer diagnosis, such changes would have been entirely understandable. Yet the palace did not acknowledge any practical explanation. Instead, when asked about the transformation at the Royal Variety performance, the Princess of Wales simply remarked that the color had changed in the sun. You know, if the sun did that to most people's head, most people who tried that challenge would be bald right now. So I don't think that's it. Okay. Yet the palace did not acknowledge any practical explanations. Instead, when asked about the transformation at the Royal Variety performance, the Princess of Wales simply remarked that the color had changed in the sun. Explanation brief and offered with a smile became a public facing story. No mention of a stylist, no confirmation of dye, just sanitarium. Uh, um, uh, just sunshine, not sanitarium, just sunshine. Sanitarium. And the media outlets adopted the line without challenge. That's the part that gets me. They just accept that line without challenging it. She says her hair color shifted with the sun and they just accept it. There's no way it would be possible for her hair to change those colors naturally. I just don't believe it. That was a ridiculous lie. And as far as I'm concerned, uh, yeah, I think someone who tells a lie like that should not be seen as a credible person at all. It's a ridiculous lie, easily exposed. The media stopped asking questions. Once Kate Middleton gave her explanation, media outlets moved quickly to promote it. People magazine printed the quote without hesitation. The Daily Mail offered complaints. Other publications echoed the line, according to The Sun, with, yeah, all right, according to them, the sunlight alone had turned her hair from brown to blonde. No stylist involved, no chemical assistance. Really? Really? There are people who live next to a nuclear power plant who could not achieve that hair color. I'm just saying. Okay. I don't know. I think I'm done with that one. This is kind of more of the same because we know that the sun did not bleach her hair like that. The Botoxing Wig Whisper Network. The Princess of Wales has long faced speculation over cosmetic enhancements, but the official line remains unchanged. In 2019, following the birth of her third child, reports surfaced claiming that she had undergone Botox treatment. Kensington Palace issued a rare on the record denial, calling the claim categorically false. Hmm, interesting. Well, that's because it's not true. While the palace deflect scrutiny over Kate's appearance, it responded very differently to the press on Meghan when racist abuse targeted the Duchess of Sussex online. Palace aides not only remained silent, but at times distorted the record. After the British Fashion Council posted a photo of Meghan from the Fashion Awards, the image was swiftly deleted. Mm. Oh, well. So, in other words, that is not Kate's hair, and these fabrications represent a pattern of deception. And once again, Kate Middleton is being protected by the press. And oh, yeah, look at these other articles from Feminegra. Kate Middleton's hair change show the limits of royal image control. Is Kate Middleton wearing a wig? The hair debate at the National History Museum. And Diana's former hairstylist defend Kate's hair while mocking Prince Harry. See what I mean? There's like 3 other articles about that ridiculous hair that she's wearing. So, with that, you guys, I am done. About the same as I was on last night. I am going to say goodnight to you all. I had a very busy weekend, but it was very fruitful and enjoyable. So, yes, I'm going to bid you all a good night. And again, greatly appreciate the moderators for keeping this a safe space. Okay? Love you guys, and I will see you all later or tomorrow, whichever comes first. Okay? Cheers.